Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fresh from the Trollbox, the BitMEX Trader podcast with our CEO, Stefan Lutz, who had an intense week trading, even though we're going to talk a little bit about the range he traded and what is going to happen in the market now that Michael Saylor has bought a fair share. Others may be ready to sell a fair share. Let's go right into it and ask Stefan the question that we ask him every week. Hey, Stefan, how has your week been trading?
Well, again, quite eventful, not in terms of real events, but if you see how it's trading, a couple of trends that are clearly there. We are so-called back to range-bound mode, especially for Bitcoin. Basically, I believe right now we are kind of in something that you could call the the valley of the shadow of death. Especially for spot traders, it's a difficult situation. For derivatives traders, from my point of view, it's an optimal situation. We are again in a very fixed range, and the range is pretty big actually. I mean, it looks like we're hovering around 65,000, always going a little bit lower, then a little bit higher. But frankly, the real range from my point of view, and we have spoken about that over and over again, it's basically the upper bound is around 72K and the lower bound is pretty low, actually around 47K, I guess, 50K in terms of resistance or support lines. Thing here is if we break out over the upper bound, like going above 72K sustainably, then we will see new all-time highs. Contrary, if we go below 47, wow, man, that would be bad. That would be another bear market, I guess. I don't believe in that. I mean, we come to that later. But what it gives you is if you trade derivatives, be it a options and you go for yield enhancement, so you go short. I mean, do the right trades. I mean, not just betting or trading the perp up and down. I mean, that's the time to earn money, really. I mean, this is easy trading money. If you're a spot, it's a little bit more difficult because once you bought Bitcoin, you bought it, right? I mean, then it's done, and it's not so capital efficient to trade. But I think for day traders or I mean, let's say week traders, so regular traders, it's an almost perfect market, especially in the main coins like Ethereum and Bitcoin. That's basically it. So in a bit like good and bad, I would love to see new all-time highs soon, but I believe we will keep that range for quite a while. And with that, I mean, you just triggered me. We saw two, I would say, semi-big news, nothing unexpected, but we saw MicroStrategy buying more Bitcoin. And we saw just yesterday that the German government starts to sell their Bitcoin holdings. So question is there an OTC trade ongoing and they just exchanging and then we will have an overflow of the sell? If you look at the total amount that the German government holds. At the same time, I mean, most people know I'm an ethnic German. I think this just proves how stupid the Ministry of Finance, that is led by Liberal Democrats, is. I mean, they call themselves the Lord Protectors of neoliberalism in Germany. Frankly, I mean, they bring back gold to the central bank, to the Bundesbank, to the German bank. They don't trust the euro. At the same time, lowest debt to GDP levels in Europe, one of the lowest deficit levels of the Western world. So they don't need the money. It's not about generating liquidity. You could loan that out. So they actually should hodl Bitcoin instead of selling it. But I mean, I'm not in the government, so their problem. But we see like how that works. So you see the good message, like Saylor is buying more and more, and I mean, people like us, we know why. And then you see basically a government that naturally should hold at least some Bitcoin as a last resort. Basically, they sell it, although their perceived or espoused monetary policy should actually be hodling. But anyway, I mean that's how it is in a way.
Yeah, interesting. And I like your perspective there of saying if there's no need to sell, why are we even selling? I think last week and a couple of weeks ago, we spoke about other governments being extremely supportive of, for example, mining operations, be it in Thailand, be it in Canada, for example. And the German government, as far as I know at least, doesn't mine actively. But obviously, they have collected a lot of Bitcoins through criminal proceeds. And what is the need to sell them now? I mean, we're all kind of not expecting that this is the end of the bull market, and as you say, Germany doesn't need money. So a bit of a strange trade for sure. Plus, interesting to see how they're going to sell it. I think you mentioned there's a few exchanges where
Yep.
Bitcoins have been transferred to. Um, are they really going to market sell this? Probably not. So what's
That
the
that would be I mean that's just joking and gossiping, and if someone from the government will see it, they don't like it, but making fun out of it. But I mean, just imagine they behave like they have no clue what this is and what asset they haven't had, and then probably just one civil servant saying, "Oh, I was tasked to sell that, so let's just give 50,000 Bitcoin on a market order on sell." I mean, bye.
yeah?
Sorry,
I
that's
mean,
just joking. But you never know what happens.
good. Not financial advice, do your own research, but for everybody that should be like put a low baller order somewhere in the
Yes.
books, right? If you are just joking here, but the other thing is Michael Saylor, right, bought almost 12,000 Bitcoin at almost no market impact. I think 65
Yeah.
800 was his average price. So is this the time where considering the lower volumes that we see traded generally, is this the time for OTC deals? Is this the time for options? What or how do you see these mega purchases really happening?
Yes. I mean, there a couple of things, and I'd like to divert because it is, from my point of view, connected to the altcoin market. I mean, not that it drives the altcoin market, but we see one thing when we spoke about this podcast before. We spoke about the altcoin market, and that actually altcoins seem to lose over proportionally compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum. But now coming back to what you say, from my point of view, we see here the trend that the main coins, I mean, basically Bitcoin and Ethereum, not even the main coins, but Bitcoin and Ethereum, they turn more and more into a market that is short term driven by institutional players, meaning there is more, let's call it liquidity, and they know how to stabilize markets, right? How to play the game. It's not like I mean, it's free. Don't get me wrong, this is not regulated, but it's not, let's say, a random meetup of supply and demand, which leads to high volatility. They look at how to sell. They are very professional in selling and buying via, I mean, limit orders. I mean, this is trivial, but it's just the next level. It's not even my level, your level, or the level that BitMEX as a company operates on. It's much more than this. So they know how to actually balance between spot and derivatives markets so that you have lower market price impact, right? Because what they look after is a predictable price for sell and for buys. So, and this is what we see, and you see that in lower volatility. I mean, you see trends, but you see lower volatility. You see that range boundness, which is a clear signal that big pockets are working the market. So for me, this is clear. But at the same time, if you compare it to the last bull market, we always had, like, if Bitcoin does well, L1s do well, and then the altcoins do well. We had a little bit of that already earlier in this year, but I guess that was driven by the expectation that this bull run will work like the last one. The last one, basically, for me, was all retailers positively. Let's say individuals. I mean, not retail like dump retail, but people adopting to crypto. So there was a real inflow of money. So this time it was like Bitcoin was going through the roof. Ethereum went up, and people thought, okay, now is the time to collect my altcoins because that will be the next big thing. And we had that. We had a very short, let's say, hype or pump basically in altcoins. But what was missing was actually people getting into it, because this institutionally driven demand is not going into meme coins. No one of the big ones, of the biggies, will go into meme coins, into even not into altcoins, right? I mean, meme coins for me is like what comes after altcoins. Meme coins, we spoke about, that is a little bit more retail driven. It's a little bit like a consumer product. It works very well, but the liquidity is too low, as that any trader that needs to trade like 1 billion per day will go into those meme coins because they will distort the market completely. So for them, it's not their market. And in altcoins, it's the same. They fear in being into too exotic altcoins here, right? So that means we started something, it was ignited by expectation, and then the reality didn't hit the expectation. And this is what you see in the altcoin market from my point of view right now. So you had that sudden rise in altcoin prices, and now they're like stepwise going down. Why stepwise? Because sometimes someone sells something and the rest says, oh, let's wait, nothing happened actually. We haven't heard news. There was nothing in supply and demand really. Okay, let's hodl a little bit longer. Oh, another 5 cent. Oh, another 5 cent. Something like this is happening. Plus, I guess everyone expects that over the summer break, which is starting soon, nothing much will happen. Which in itself, I mean, this is not a prediction, but what goes on in my head is usually if everybody thinks the same, the opposite will happen. So if everybody believes nothing will happen during summer break, maybe just in now unexpected news will drive real volatility. I don't know, but it's a little bit like, oh wow, it's like with the altcoin market. Everyone thought this is what happens. It didn't happen because everyone thought it, and there was no real underlying base demand, right? Um, Here it's a little bit. I mean, for me the same, a little bit caution. And actually, if you are into altcoins, so the altcoins. I mean, I'm not so much into meme coins. It's just me personally, but more, let's say, if you mains, L1s, and then the next one. Now is a good time to collect. Right now, if you really believe there will be more demand, more people will come in, and frankly, we're optimistic, right? I mean, we're a crypto native company, and I am as well. So putting some orders into once in a while, building up some positions without hurting yourself, doing your risk management, of course, as always, becoming a better trader one step at a time. This is really the time. I think on Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's a little bit more wait and see. If we go lower in the range, frankly, personally, I build up some positions in Bitcoin. I mean, becoming more and more cautious the lower you get. We spoke about that. But let's say if we go close to 60, I mean, I will put in some buy orders, even physically, and until then trade via perps, futures, options, the range, right? And as you asked, what is the strategy? I mean, outright directional strategy for me, it's like physically you buy if you're a Bitcoiner, right? So you buy, you need to hodl in a way, then trade the range with perps. So you can go buy, sell like on the turns. That's pretty okay if you sit in front of the screen. And then if you want to enhance some yield, go short and have some covered short options here because you get the premium. And if you set the range high and low enough, it's still enough money that you can make with it. Basically sorry. Today I'm in talking mode. Sorry, Uzi. Options. What we see today is one of the biggest options expiries ever in crypto. So I think we have like 1.92 billion in expiries today. And what is the interesting thing? It's more like for the non-options traders. The options traders will know that, but for the non-options traders, why is that? Let's say at least a big thing to observe. When options expire, the question is, are the short positions covered? So have the short, if you are short call, short put, right? So the question is, do you have written an option based on your physical inventory? If that's the case, not much will happen because actually that equals off itself. But if there have been people in the market who had uncovered positions, they will need some money to basically fund and then pay out
The buyers
the
of the option.
premiums, right?
Yeah.
So for settlements, depending on the strikes. And this is the interesting thing. So for me, this option expiry today is not so much about predicting a direction because we don't know, but as it is so high, I will be very curious to see whether it will have a spot market impact, which would mean there have been a lot of uncovered positions, which is an interesting point of reference, point of information as well for me. So this is what I will be look at tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I think higher volatility always happening around larger expiries. Usually expiry is roughly, I think, 4 or 5 p.m. GMT. So and then right before and right after, we should expect some additional volatility, as you say, just to see who has been uncovered. And as you say, it's maybe a right time to put some low ball offers in. Maybe they get picked up. If you're bolder, it's the right time to put some shorts in. As we are anyway trading on the higher part of the range, maybe
Yes.
not much of a risk. And then we'll see where we end up after the weekend. I guess the weekend generally lower liquidity, always exciting. I think in the last couple of weeks, it's always been like a slow ladder up on the weekend and the elevator down on Monday. And, and maybe this pattern keeps repeating. But obviously, we'll see. Thank you very much, Stefan, for the insights.
Thank you, and have a good weekend. So interesting times ahead, but good to trade. Huh?
Exactly. Good weekend trading. Cheers.
Cheers, bye.